Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. We're just punching in. This seems like the thing to do, which is everybody's kind of sending out all of their updates and what's going on and what's transpiring. And I personally wanted to check in and just give you guys an update on where we're at as a church and what's kind of just going on and transpiring. We know that things change, and this has been a crazy week for pretty much all of us. But we know that things are altering and being postponed and canceled and shut down and all that other stuff. And so we have a lot of questions kind of coming in on where we stand as a church and what's going to happen to us. Before we go any further, we just want to say how awesome it is to be a part of the Evangelical Free Church. I've had the opportunity to personally talk to so many pastors in the surrounding areas that are part of EFCA, and then also have the opportunity to talk to via some email communication to our national headquarters, and just great conversations are transpiring and taking place with that. And then we've had other brothers and sisters who have punched in and given kind of their comments and suggestions and concerns to us. And we've even enlisted some support in regards to lawyers after hearing about what happened with the government and the governor talking about things that have transpired. So we wanted to take the opportunity to just give you our response, how we're approaching things, and just to kind of tell you what's been transpiring and what's been taking place. Before we go any farther, we do know that this is a very serious thing, and we understand that there are people who are sick, and it is important to reiterate how necessary it is to make sure you're washing your hands and make sure that you're taking care of germs and bacteria to the best of your ability. And if you have symptoms, we've talked to even medical professionals, and they've told us if you have symptoms, you go to your local hospital, give them a call, don't necessarily go in, they'll do a test for you. So if you're one of those people and you find yourself not feeling well, or you think that this is something that could happen with you, there are policy and procedures that you need to do to make sure that you're doing diligence there. Also, you can check out a couple of websites. We know the Center for Disease Control is a big one, as well as the World Health Organization. And we found that out from a couple of our dear brothers in various locations who are using those two sources as kind of like a check-in. There is information on those actual websites and those places that will tell you if something's real or not real. It's hard to discern what is true and what's false in this period. And so, we really need to be careful on what sources that we're accessing in regards to finding out material. So, I have heard from various people just the importance of sharing Christ in this situation. And that's so true. We can always share Jesus in everything, whether that be with a virus outbreak or in seasons where things are going really well, and just in times where, we're in crisis. So it's always important to make sure that we're talking about our hope, our living hope, as we've been talking about in 1 Peter, which is so timely, in the inheritance that we have in Christ. So oftentimes when we get into conversations with people and they find themselves like all over the place, we go back to just being calm because we have the relationship in Jesus. We can trust in Him, and those who feel hopeless can find hope in Christ, in a relationship with Christ through faith, which is so important. So we need to remember that we're not in control of everything, but there are things that are in our control and that we can do. Also, we want to reiterate just the importance of not over or under reacting. We understand that how we respond to this is super important. So, some people have just said it's not really affecting me, and so I'm just going to, let it go. And we need to be careful with that, but not overreact to the point, to where we're doing something that is going to harm or hurt others. So that's something just to think about as you approach this situation. You need to constantly be praying, am I underplaying this? Am I overplaying this? As my dad always told me growing up, we just need to seek balance and make sure that we're balanced properly. So just pray for your own heart and things like that. We also need to understand that there are people who are sick, and we have to make sure that we're praying for them and making sure that we're reaching out to them properly, and making sure that we're responding in the fact that we do love them and we care about them and we want what's best. So true love is obviously seeking the other person's best, seeking our community's best, and people's best too as well. So that kind of leaves where we're at and what we're doing as a church. Here's the deal. We know that there's a couple people who have canceled, and we know there's people who are still planning on participating. We know what the governor said. We understand that. Gatherings over 250 people, obviously. People are encouraging that you don't do that. And you need to be careful with that. Community gospel kind of sits on that line every week. So for us, and what we have decided is we're going to keep going. The church doors are still going to be open. Regular worship gatherings on Sunday morning at 10:10 is still going to happen. It's still going to transpire. We're still going to meet at our church. We're still going to do those things. All of our events and activities, programs, stuff like that, they're all going to run as normal. We're just going to keep going. We believe very strongly that the church is the hope of the world, and we're listening to our government. We're honoring our government, but we're continuing to remain true to meeting together. We believe that that's very, very important. We're going to monitor the situation. We'll make changes as needed, but for now, we're still going to do what we do, and we're going to preach what we preach. We're going to stay in 1 Peter. We've got a great message on Sunday to talk about that, about what it means to have a proper mindset, especially in this time period, and how our minds can be focused on Christ. The first and fifth Sundays, we're still going to serve communion. In April, we're going to do threefold communion service. We're still going to do that. We're still going to take and participate. We're still going to do meet and greets. We believe very strongly that as the church meets, we fellowship with one another. And in our worship gatherings, if you don't feel comfortable with shaking somebody else's hand, you don't have to. If you don't feel comfortable with taking communion, you don't have to. We're not pushing anybody to do that. It's totally fine. All right. So if you choose to come and gather and you don't want to participate in those things, we're not saying that you have to. We'll have plenty of hand sanitizer. Our bathrooms still work. The sinks still work. There's soap in the dispensers. We'll have all of those accessible for you, as well as our children's ministry area. Those are all cleaned on a weekly basis. Those are taken care of too as well. We keep all the other areas of the church clean, and we disinfect those as much as we possibly can. And a huge thank you goes out to the people that make that possible. We do desire that you come and gather with us if you can't and you're older, and you're looking at it from that standpoint, a more mature standpoint in that regard. We would say go ahead and stay home. That's totally fine. You're more than okay in staying home. Our younger families, that's at your discretion. If you're not comfortable with this, that's totally fine. You can still participate in watching sermons online. We're going to live stream them on Facebook. We're also giving the opportunity for people to give online. If you'd like to keep your financial things going, that's totally okay. We appreciate you being proactive. We look at our list of pros and cons, and we realize that the pros for us gathering are still very, very long and very high. There's more of those than there are in the cons situation. And so we're going to keep going and we're going to meet. And we appreciate so greatly those people who have reached out and conversed with us. We thank our EFCA brothers who have had conversations with us and given us kind of some wisdom in that regard. Legal counsel has been huge. We're going to continue to monitor this and just kind of work in and through this situation. And we're going to continue to make Christ known through all things. So if you want to gather with us, Community Gospel Church, 10:10 on Sunday, we're going to be here, 68893 State Road, 331 in Bremen. If you want to punch in online, communitygospelchurch.com or facebook.com/CGC community. And we're just going to keep kind of moving. We believe with all of our heart that the local church is the hope of the world. And we believe that there is power that comes when God's people do gather. That's what his word says. So we want to make sure that those things continue as long as we're still able to do that. So keep praying. We'll keep answering questions. Just want to let you guys know that you're loved dearly. I love being your pastor, and this is a very delicate situation for us all. But we're gonna keep praying and keep moving forward as we make Jesus Christ known both near and far. All right. God bless you guys. We'll see you soon, hopefully, Lord willing.